So here I am at Plickers.com, and there's a couple of things that you can do without even signing up for an account. And if you just want the cards, all you have to do is hit this cards section, and it'll bring you right to the cards. What I suggest you do is you go with the standard card, and what this will do once you click on it is you'll be able to download the PDF, and I can click on it here. And here are my PDF cards, and all I have to do then is hook that up to a printer and print them off, and you have it. So that's if you just want to get those cards. I suggest that you can laminate those, no problem, but I'm going to show you a trick as well so that it's easier for the students to quickly answer questions A, B, C, D when we get to that point. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to sign up, username, password, and everything else that you typically have to do. I'm going to sign in, and I have mine saved. So once I'm signed in here, I'm going to work from the right all the way over here to the left, and you can see in the top right hand corner is my name, and I can come click here and say this is my name and this is the display and blah blah blah. So that's no big deal. You have the help section, which has a lot of great tips and things. There's this getting started guide, which I'll post below. In iTunes U, there's webinars that you can come look at, feature requests, so some things that you're kind of looking for. Library and questions, presentation kit, Plickers apps, classes and students. So all types of things are in here for you in the help section. That section where I just showed you before logging in, cards, can also be found over here. So if I click on this, it's going to give you the same exact thing. I also want you to know that Amazon, by clicking on this link here, Amazon has a set of cards right now that are $20 for a set of 40, I believe. Yep, 40 cards, 1 through 40. They're on card stock and they're laminated and they work great. I've not purchased them just because I've had much success with just printing them out. So also over here on the left hand side, so I'm done with the right hand side. Now I have the left hand side, and anytime you want to go live, you're going to want to click this view. And what this does is it's going to be able to set this live so that you can actually start your quiz, and you're going to display the questions up here on through your computer, through your projector, so that the questions, as you move through on your iPad, the questions will actually move on through the projector. You don't have to have anything set up. It automatically, once you log into your iPad and you log in here on the web and you hook up your projector, you'll be able to see the questions move through quickly as you go from one to the next. If you're not sure and it doesn't come up right away with the live view, hit this refresh button down here and it will refresh and we'll go through there. So next to live view I have classes, and you're going to see that I have quite a few classes. Starting in the top left hand corner I have block 1, and that shows me that I have 25 students and they're the blue color. Block 2 is the second group, that has 26 students and it's this yellow orangish color. I have two groups called Delete Me 1, Delete Me 2. Just because I've done this for purposes of showing people how to work with Plickers. I did this with the iPad class if it was a live face-to-face class, so we had some questions in there. Didn't have any students, and that was the green tab, and you can see some other things as well. To add a new class, all I'm going to do is simply hit this Add Class, give it a class name, and I'm going to call this Delete Me 3. Select the year. I'm going to go with Other. Select the subject. I'm going to go with Language Arts. And then I want a color. And I'm going to try and think of the colors that I have and make it a different color. So once I've added this, to add students into your class, all you're simply going to do is add their name. Hit enter, and then student 1 has that card. And you can keep going, so on and so forth. Now, what you're going to notice, in Plickers, I have student 1, 2, and 3, and when I hover over student 2, notice in the top right-hand corner of their box, there's this little drop-down arrow that all of a sudden pops up. What I can do here is I can edit the student. Maybe I spelled their name wrong. Maybe they've want to be called something different because in your official roster it's Joseph, and maybe they wanted to be called Joe. So different things that you can do there. Student moves, you can hit that little subtle arrow there in the top right, and you can also delete that student because they're no longer in your class. And when I delete that student, it says it can't be done. Notice over here my available cards, card number 2 becomes available. So maybe you need to adjust your roster, and this happens many times in the beginning of the year. So what I can do here is I can drag this to Bob, and now Bob has 2, and then we can keep going back into sequential order 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is in my classes, and if I come back to classes here, notice that those subtle arrows are here in all of them, and when I click it, I can archive this class if I wanted to, and that's what I can actually do with this class because they're not with me anymore. And I also have this class over here that I archive as well. I'll come down here and I'll archive these 2 classes, and there we have it. So that's classes. I'm going to skip reports for a second, and I'm going to come over to library. So to add more classes, you just go over there. Now I'm going to come over to library, and this is where you can create questions, and I find it very, very easy to create questions on the computer rather than on your iPad. So let me minimize over here. So to add a new question, all you're going to do is hit this purplish box that says new question, and I'm going to add my question here. I'm going to use Plickers on the first day of school, and I'm going to make it a multiple choice question, and I'm going to say went to the beach. And I'm going to leave it open-ended so that this is the correct answer, let's say, for this one. So I'm going to save that if I wanted to, and that was the only question I wanted, or I'm going to save and create. Now, again, subtly in the what did you do over the summer, we can add images that go with this. So I can add an image from my computer, and let me just, for intents and purposes, I'm just going to add this picture here. And it's upside down, so let's try another image. Let's see if that one works. That one's upside down as well. Not sure why that's doing that, but let's just say that's a picture. Maybe we need to show them a mathematics type question, and we saved it as an image on our computer. We took a screenshot of something. We could say, what does this equation represent? And then we could put that there. So now I can save and create. And now it's asking me for another question. Did you read, how many books did you read? And I can say 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 6 to 10. Let's make that a 10. Or many. And I'm going to hit save there. So now, and now this, notice my picture did come up the right way. These are the 2 questions that I had asked. How many books did I read? And also, what did I do over the summertime? So now, these are in my library of questions that need to be asked. I have to do a couple of things. I have to add to my queue. So I have to say which class am I going to ask these questions to. So when I pull up that particular class, I know that those questions are there. So I'm going to add this to the delete me 3. Okay, and you notice that over here on the right-hand side of my screen now, it says how many books did you read, and that was my first question that I'm going to ask. And then I'm going to add this one to the queue as well, and that's going to go to delete me 3. And notice that these 2 questions are there now. I also have other questions in my library, and you can see here I have what did you do, what are you doing this weekend? Do you like this form of assessment? Solve 3 times 3 times 2. I'm going to add this one to my queue because this was already in my list of questions. So I'm going to add that to my delete me 3. And the reason I have this question on there, I try and do an easy question with my students so that they understand how Plickers works first. So this may be the first question that I ask. Or it could be what is 2 plus 2 so that they know how to hold up the card and whatnot. So that is there. I have another option here with these questions, and let me come back to the questions I made. Top right-hand corner of each individual question, I can edit my question if I want to. I can move my question, which means I can move it into a folder. So when I click on this move question, I have some folders already, health, math, PD, science, or iPad. I'm going to say that this is going to be my PD section. So now I can hit move, and this question now will be moved to my PD section. Some of these questions have not been moved at all. So this question here, do you like this form of assessment? This needs to go into my PD. So I can move that and I'm finished. Now, over here, underneath where it says new question, you can search for questions over here, or I can come in here into PD, and I can look at all the questions that have been added. And that's pretty neat. So I can add questions from multiple classes. So great things to do here with Plickers.